oftentimes people feel like courtship is the prize. I'm in it. I'm done.
Hey, it's Cullen.
And Elitia here, your favorite relationship coaches at When Love Works Dynamically with over 15 years of experience. And today we are talking about courtship. How oftentimes people feel like courtship is the prize. I'm in it. I'm done.
Just so we're super clear about what courtship is, it's an exclusive experience that's very practical. It's an opportunity now for you to match actions with that person's words, and for the two of you to find out actually how you interact with one another in day-to-day interaction.
But courtship is temporary. It's your first relationship out of dating, but it's a temporary one, and it only lasts about a year.
Right.
It's involving the clarity on how you all are going to communicate, how you're going to resolve conflict, and how you're going to build companionship.
Right.
That forward movement happens across and up to a year maximum.
Right. Now, in that time, you're going to see how a person shows up.
Oh, yes,
There's nothing's going to teach you like that on the ground experience like that, because there are people, we've got a ton of clients who have come to us and told us that their partner became a whole different person.
They changed
during in stress and conflict. So these are important things for you to know, so you can determine whether you're on board with this or not.
Yeah.
Because look, courtship is for you to work everything out so you know what you're taking into a lifetime partnership. The first month is so important because you're setting the tone. You're setting the tone. Just break it up into 4 quarters. This is the first quarter.
Yeah.
And whatever you said in that first quarter is going to determine what happens down the road. If you're that person that's trying to align and basically become somebody in order for the relationship to work, you're going to create a war within yourself. And we've seen this happen tons of times where people ignored something, somebody disrespecting their boundaries, saying things that trigger them and stuff like this. Ignore them so they can keep the peace, so they can be able to say, yeah, we're doing fine. Let me tell you something. You're doing it to your own detriment. You're weaponizing grace for your relationship with somebody that you don't know yet. This has to play out, and you have to get to know each other.
Courtship is a fruitful experience. I love it. But in that first month, it's going to uncover a lot. And because the life is going to keep lifing, you two will uncover whether you're going to be compatible and have the capacity to do this thing called life together. And in that first month, usually what happens, we know in doing this work that over the course of a whole couple's journey together, they will experience about 10 or 12 things. And oftentimes we hear people say, especially the clients that work with us, they was like, well, everything that y'all talked about, just about half of that came up in our first month. And it's true, because the conversations about, do we want children? How are we going to handle the finances? Well, how we raise children? How the boundaries are going to be checked?
Right.
When your family has an issue with me, where's that diplomacy? Where you're standing up for me or I'm speaking on your behalf. Those are very intentional practices that organically come up as situations in courtship. And so in that first month, expect you to see a lot of opportunities to get clear about how you're going to navigate communication, how you two are going to navigate conflict, and how you're going to nurture your companionship. Courtship is a temporary 1-year bubble to do that work with the person that you chose, but it's temporary. Even if it doesn't work out in that first year, you can call it. Courtship can last up to a year, but it could be as short as a month, and that's okay.
I want to build on what you said about it not working out.
Yeah.
Don't look at it that way. This is not performative.
Ooh.
And at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, that's a success too.
Yep.
Because that is what this is for.
Yeah.
It's here to determine your true compatibility in working form. Y'all might be great on paper.
Whew.
How do you work in actuality?
Yeah.
That's what courtship determines.
IRL.
That's why most people suggest a year. You get to see that person in 4 seasons.
That's right. Here are some green flags for your first month of courtship. Do you and that person both show up emotionally and logistically together?
Is that person malleable? When you come to them and tell them about things that they did to harm you or offend you or whatever the case, do they take that seriously or do they, diminish it?
Yeah. Do they have a growth mindset? Are your conversations
Yes.
moving beyond surface level to how are we dealing with this family issue, the money, or what do you think about this? Or this happens to me at work. Can I even have this conversation with you? Or do you feel like, oh, my work stuff needs to stay at work and you're not that venting person?
Right.
Or are you brainstorming things with me because I have dreams?
Right.
You will get very clear, and these are some of the green flags to work through that you will see in the first month of courtship.
Right. Does this person lift you up? Do you feel uplifted in the relationship? Do you feel supported?
Yeah.
You feel loved? Do you feel respected? Because I mean, they're going to be, you know, everybody's entitled to a bad day. I talk about this all the time. But are there patterns always ones that that feature them respecting you? That needs to be the case.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oftentimes people sit in courtship and project what it's going to be like when they are married. And so we're saying, stay right here in a moment, see if
Yes.
words match actions, and make a decision based on that day by day with that data, not your projections and not your hopes
Right.
of getting a ring.
Right. Let me say this to you. Courtship is temporary. You should never lose sight of that.
Yeah.
We say that because we've seen people who have told us, and I don't think they remembered it, but they told us, I want to be married. And my wife is real good about asking, well, when you set the date for? What is your date? Have you set it? And so it's important that you set your date and hold to it, and at least revisit it. But it should not go completely out of sight. This is something that, if this is your dream, if this is your goal, own it. And even if you're the only person that's managing it or on top of it,
Yeah.
be that person that's on top of it and don't feel any guilt around it. If this is what the two of you discuss, then own it. And don't feel, like I said, don't feel any guilt around it. Revisit it as much as you need to have it to. And if at the end of the day, if you're seeing that this person is not honoring what you originally discussed, talk about an alternative plan, or start thinking about what you're going to do next.
The alternative to not doing this is going to be, by default, you will be in a situationship.
That's right.
Which will turn into a dysfunctionship because you're going to resent that person. Because at the
Right.
beginning of your courtship, you two are working together toward a committed lifetime partnership. And if you skip the part where you're just getting comfortable in courtship and it's past that year mark, by default, you will be in a situationship. Later down the line, it's going to turn into a dysfunctionship because all of that resentment is going to set in because their words did not match their actions, and you weren't bold. You didn't hold the line on achieving exactly what you said you wanted. Remember the 3 C's: clarity, confidence, and control.
Yeah.
And right here in courtship, the control part is essential. If marriage is your goal, if lifetime partnership is your goal, then do not get comfortable in courtship. That is a temporary relationship.
Right. So what we've seen many times is people merging their finances, moving in together, or stuff like that. This will come soon enough.
Yeah.
The most important thing you want to remember, this is still a temporary relationship. You are checking off the boxes. Not literally, but you know what I mean. You're checking off the boxes and you're figuring out whether this is something that you want to go with.
You move from a conditional connection into an unconditional relationship, but it's a temporary one. And so you cannot start merging finances and moving in together because while it's unconditional, it is temporary. And so that permanence of moving together, that permanence of having co-bank accounts when you're in courtship is dangerous because you have blurred the lines between lifetime partnership practices and behaviors and courtship, and that is not the same. And so we want to make sure you have a clear demarcation mark that courtship is while it's a relationship, it's a temporary one. It's where you're pouring on who you are and the other person is pouring on who they are, and you're seeing if it's compatible, if you have the capacity to be with this person. And if the answer is yes, then you two have that next conversation to transition into, okay, we're going into lifetime partnership. We can merge finances, we can move into things of that nature. But in courtship, those behaviors are not showing up in courtship. They are reserved for a committed lifetime partnership.
So what I was saying was, you're moving from a conditional relationship to an unconditional relationship. This is the only time you will have to be conditional
Yeah.
in dating and in courtship.
The first part of
So
courtship.
take advantage of that time to be conditional, and that's there for a reason.
Yeah.
So you can answer your questions.
Yeah.
Get really, really, really super clear that this is your person. Because when it's time for you to be unconditional, you need to be unconditional.
That's right.
And accept that person. By that time, you've got your questions answered. You know that this is an imperfect person, and you are comfortable with those things that they're imperfect in, and you guys know how to work together as a team. You've found out whether they're the non-negotiables are there, and you've checked that box off. You've checked out whether they and all the other things that are important to you. So this is important for you to do. Check off that box so you can move into unconditional status, because that's going to be required for the rest of the time. From the rest of lifetime partnership, from the rest of courtship all the way into lifetime partnership.
Unconditional is required.
Yep.
If you're in courtship for more than a year without clarity around the next steps, then you're not really in courtship. You're in a situationship. You're in a stall. You can make up the word for that. But again, courtship is a very clear state. So if you're in it more than a year, then you have run past its ending date. Courtship must have an end date. It's either going to be partner in love or you're going into lifetime partnership. Those are the only two options. Anything else you introduce is a very dangerous area. It's okay, no judgment here. If you didn't know the definition of courtship, if you saw that, oh, maybe there are two options at the end of courtship that I didn't know about, it's okay. That's why we have a free consultation. So you can get on the phone with us and find out if we're aligned in being your relationship coaches. Because again, you're vetting us too, right? So have the conversation to see if we're the ones to help you navigate courtship, having fun and in a healthy, conscious way.
So click that link below, and see you in the next video.